Christian Leadership Partners. For the last 17 days, we've been doing a coaching session that hopefully has helped you to change the way that you look at life. You know, that only takes about 10 minutes to be able to listen to this, and we've even thrown in a free chapter of Proverbs every single day. So hopefully it's making a difference in your life as you go through and take a look at what we're doing. We've been working very heavily on developing our goals, and hopefully you're continuing to do that. If you look down in the comment section below, you'll find that we've given you a goal worksheet so that you can work a little bit more on your goals and so that you can be more successful towards the end of this process. Now, we will have been working on our short-term goals, and hopefully 15 days into this coaching session, you've actually been able to develop the goals and start working on those goals and actually seeing some of them accomplished. But what we want to do is we want to start working towards our midterm goals and our long-range goals. And if our short-term goals have changed because we've accomplished some, we want to move on to that next level, then praise the Lord. That's what we really want to do. Today will be the second day that we really spend a little bit of time on strategic planning. Now, a strategic plan helps us to look forward and not backwards. We want to take the things that we know and we want to start establishing the good things in our lives and start working towards those goals that we've identified. So our strategic plan is actually going to help us to do that. What we'll look at today are the attributes and the things that God has blessed us with to be able to do those things. So we're going to take an inventory of those things and see how they match up with the goals that God has given to us. 2 days ago, hopefully our goal list changed just a little bit when we looked at the gifts and the talents that God has blessed us with and how those line up with what we want to do. So we'll see these things work heavily into our lives as we move along. We also want to take a look at Proverbs chapter 17. Proverbs 17 actually helps us to learn a lot of things. Let's take a look at some of the things that it's actually going to address. Proverbs 17 allows us to be able to work in peaceful conditions. It shows us how we can work with wise workers. It talks about the difficulties that test the heart of man. It talks about the power of love and forgiveness. It talks about the character of a fool. It talks about the rules for friendship and the do's and don'ts of those friendships, and also teaches us how to check our attitudes. So what we want to do is we want to start spending a little bit of time in Proverbs, and hopefully you can see that the book of Proverbs actually helps us as we go along. And these coaching sessions are running parallel with all the different things that we can see here. You know, Proverbs 17, 1 through 3 tells us, better dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with fasting and conflict. A wise servant will rule over a master's disgraceful son and will share in the inheritance of the master's children. Fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord tests the heart. Wrongdoers eagerly listen to gossip. Liars pay close attention to slander. Those who mock the poor insult their maker. Those who rejoice at misfortune of others will be punished. Grandchildren are the crowning glory of the aged. Parents are the pride of their children. Eloquent words are not fitting for a fool, even less are lies fitting for a ruler. A bribe is like a lucky charm. Whoever gives one will prosper. Love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. A single rebuke does more for a person of understanding than 100 lashes on the back of a fool. Evil people are eager for rebellion, but they will be severely punished. It's safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a fool caught in foolishness. If you repay good with evil, evil will never leave your house. Starting a quarrel is like opening a floodgate, so stop before a dispute breaks out. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, both are detestable to the Lord. It's senseless to pay tuition to educate a fool, since he has no heart for learning. A friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in time of need. It's poor judgment to guarantee another person's debt or put up security for a friend. Anyone who loves to quarrel loves sin. Anyone who trusts in high walls invites disaster. The crooked heart will not prosper. The lying tongue tumbles into trouble. It's painful to be the parent of a fool. There is no joy for the father of a rebel. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit saps a person's strength. The wicked take secret bribes to perverse the course of justice. Sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. Foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth. It is wrong to punish the godly for being good or to flog leaders for being honest. A truly wise person uses few words. A person with understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise when they keep silent. With their mouths shut, they seem intelligent. So the value of Proverbs for us today helps us to start taking a look at our godly plans. There are 3 verses really that seem to stand out to me, and hopefully you recognize these as well. The first one is Proverbs 17:3, and it says, "Fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord tests the heart." The second verse that stood out was Proverbs 17:22. "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit saps a person's strength." And the last verse that really stood out to me was Proverbs 17:24. And it says, "Sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth." So what we want to do is we want to start identifying those things in our lives that can actually make a difference in what we accomplish. Now, it's really about the attitudes of our hearts and our minds that can actually set us up for the success that we need to be able to follow. Now, last week I had you draw a picture of some steps. And on each of those steps, we started out with where we were going to begin and where we want to end. What is our ultimate goal in that aspect? And then I had you fill in those steps as you went along for those midterm goals or those things that you have to accomplish before you get to your goal. And what we want to do is we want to add to that today. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the things that God has blessed you with and start adding those up to the goal that you've actually said that you want to accomplish. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying, and if you need to, I really encourage you to pause the video, take a look at the pictures that we put up here, and hopefully they'll make a lot of sense to you. So what we want to do is above the list, we want to list those skills that we need to accomplish our goal. Now, a skill can be anything that we need to be able to do this. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that you can accomplish. A skill is something that can be worked on. If you're not very good at it, but you still possess that skill, then you can become a better batter if that's what you want to do through practice. Or if you want to become a better speaker through lots of opportunities or through speaking engagements, you can actually increase your ability to speak. But it may not be something that you were born with or a natural talent or ability, but it is something that you can do, but we want to increase that ability. So what we want to take a look at is what are those skills that I'm going to need to accomplish that goal. We can start imagining here and we can start saying, you know what, if I could do this the best way possible, then I know that I could achieve that skill. Now underneath that, the second thing that we want to do is we want to list those things, those gifts, those talents, those things that we're actually born with. Now, if you're artistic in nature and if your goal has an artistic bend to it, then what we want to do is we want to make sure that we list that as one of our attributes. An attribute is, again, something that God has blessed you with to be able to accomplish the things in your life. This is different from a skill because you don't necessarily have to work at it. Some people are naturally great at math, and there are other people that really have to struggle with it. So what we need to do is we need to list those attributes that God has blessed us with at birth that'll actually help us to achieve that goal in the end. So if I'm a good leader and one of my goals is leadership, then that's what I'll do is I'll list my leadership skills as the things that I want to do, or actually my leadership attributes. So what you're doing is you're creating a picture here of what we want to do. I've got the skills listed that I'm going to need to try and work on. I've got the attributes that God has already blessed me with, and I've got where I'm at and where I want to end up. So I can have a complete picture of my goal, at least in what my mind is. So what I want to do here is I want to start identifying these things. And the last step today is I want you to rewrite your goals with I'm at this point and this is what I want to accomplish because of the gifts that God has blessed me with and the things I need to work on. So our goals are going to be a little bit longer than what they normally are, but what I'm doing is I'm writing these things out, and the more that I see this, the more my attributes are going to become more prevalent in my life to get me to that goal that God has for me. Well, I hope that these leadership sessions or these coaching sessions have been a good opportunity for you to be able to grow and that you're actually becoming better every single day. And hopefully we're at a point now where we can go out and we can be a miracle going someplace to happen.